Hello everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Max from the Innisfil Idea Lab and Library. In today's tutorial, we are going to learn how to create a simple game using the framework Pygame Zero. In this session, we've returned to the Mu code editor that we introduced way back in the first video in this series. We're going to use it to code a game in Python that will run using the Pygame Zero framework. Pygame Zero is described as a no boilerplate solution for creating games using the Python programming language. In this session, we're basically going to go through the introductory course on the Pygame Zero website. If you want to see a full text version of the course, head to pygame-zero.readthedocs.io. That's their main website, and you can read through maybe a more detailed version. We're going to be simplifying the tutorial a bit for the purposes of this video. So head there if you want more details. If you want to see the finished code that we're using, head to github.com/mlupo/idealab_codejams. The Pygame Zero intro has the game code there, as well as the graphics and sounds that we're going to be using. So feel free to spy that out. In any case, making our game will have a lot of parallels to the previous videos in this series, even the Make Code arcade ones, because programming logic for games has a few consistent elements that is reproduced in different simplified or abstracted forms in all these different kind of introductory game engines that we're using. In Pygame Zero, using the Mu code editor, really the first thing you need to do is open up the code editor and switch its mode by clicking the mode button. We started off creating just basic Python 3 code, but we're going to switch the mode to Pygame Zero. Click OK. The main thing that does for us is switch these buttons up over here to be more specific to the task at hand. In particular, a play button that will run our game for us, as well as these shortcuts to the different folders which hold our game assets. Before we get too far into those folders though, let's just get started and make the simplest version of a game that we possibly can. In Pygame Zero, you get to define your own window size. So by doing that, we use these keywords: width equals 500. So that's a 500 pixel wide game we're going to make, or at least demonstrate. Height. In Python, it's a tradition to use all uppercase letters for words that are constants, things that are not going to change, that you're not going to edit partway through the game, would be in all uppercase letters. So width and height, those aren't going to change as we're playing the game, so we keep those all uppercase. In the context of Pygame Zero, the thing which runs the game we're writing, is going to see those words width and height and know that it means that's how big we want our display to be for the game. Here, we're going to define our own variable named color. In Pygame Zero, we can define colors using 3 value RGB codes. And so for red, green, blue, you would type in 3 numbers, one for the amount of red you want, one for the amount of green you want, and one for the amount of blue you want. Really, the only way to get a sense of what that's all about is to just experiment. So I've defined a color here. You can try to experiment with your own values. The one trick is that the numbers go from 0 to 255. To draw this, we're going to create a draw function. This is the first time we've really made a function in our Python tutorials. And so to create a function in Python, we want to define it by using the shortcut def, D-E-F, put 1 space, then we're going to put the name of our function. Since this is the draw function, we're going to call it draw, and then give 2 circle brackets and a colon. After the colon, we press enter, and the Mu code editor will automatically indent us 4 spaces. And whatever we want to happen within that function, we type after that indentation. So we're going to call the screen, and we're going to ask it to fill with a color, specifically the color that we defined earlier. Pygame Zero does a lot of things for us behind the scenes. it sees this draw function and knows to automatically call it for us. We don't need to tell Pygame Zero to call this. It's going to do that for us. And by call, I just mean run it. It's going to run that for us. It's going to find this variable over here and know that's what we want there. Screen is another built-in function with a particular method we're going to use named fill. So we're going to fill the screen with a color. If we press play, we actually get to see that in action. It may take a moment or two for Pygame Zero to load the game and run it. But once it does, we will get a shiny, brand new window. And so here we go, right to fit our order, width 500, height 500, and this is the color that we ended up with those values. So again, please do feel free to experiment with that. You can close this window, but the game kind of still is running until we press stop. So just press stop. So not much of a game. Pretty fun purple square, if you ask me. But in order to create a game, similar again to our Make Code Arcade session, one of the first things we'll do is create a sprite. The easiest way to do that is to start by defining a variable. I'm going to do that way up here. If you did follow along with us for our Make Code Arcade sessions, this area of the code here can be thought of the on start block. Whatever's here is initialized, and if it has to run, it runs once before our game code actually does anything. And so I want to define a variable. I'm going to call it alien. This is just a coincidence. When you download the Mu code editor, it automatically creates this folder hierarchy for you in your home folder, and it comes with already some images. So just to get you started, Pygame Zero through the Mu code editor already comes with an alien graphic and an alien hurt graphic. And so you can see our alien here with a little kind of little spacesuit, I guess. And so that's why we're using the alien graphic, and that's why the next thing we're going to do, noting the file name is alien.png, what we're going to do is define an actor and call it alien. So the key thing for us, the graphic was alien.png, and we're calling that graphic by using a string, the string of alien, to match the file name. So string, of course, is anything in quotation marks. And the actor has some built-in functions that Pygame Zero is going to expose to us later. One thing it'll do for us right now it will help us define an anchor point. We're going to define the alien top right to be 0 and 10. So we're passing to it a series of coordinates. So thinking of the alien as this kind of graphic here, the alien itself has a top right corner, has a center, has a bottom right corner, all kinds of corners. And so what this code is doing is saying, I want the alien anchored from its top right corner to have the position 0, which would be far left, and 10. So again, the first values are x, the second values are y. So in our game screen, I want the top right corner to be at the 0 position, which would kind of put the rest of the alien off the screen, and then it'll be 10 pixels up, or sorry, 10 pixels down from the top, I should say. Because again, the origin point, just as Make Code Arcade, is 0, 0 in the top left corner. So alien top right, 0, 10, we'll put our alien character just off the screen. We're going to just make this a scrolling alien hearty over here, and so we're going to grab the alien's height. So the alien height is determined by the size of the graphic. We don't need to exactly know what it is. We can just borrow that by using this method on our alien object. So the alien object is defined here as an actor. The actor has an attribute of height. And we're going to say that I want the height of my whole canvas to be the alien's height just plus 20 pixels. So in order to see the alien, we're going to have to push him onto the screen. So maybe just for now, we'll put the alien in the center. We'll just take a look at that. And there's no alien. Of course, we need one other thing to do. Under the draw function, we need to specify what we want to draw in the scene. And of course, we're gonna fill the screen with a color. Then on top of that, we're going to pick up that alien and draw that alien. And then after every frame, we're going to clear the screen. So we'll run that again. So there's a fun little alien on our canvas. Nothing really happens. He doesn't do anything, but we've drawn him on the screen. The background has that fill color. And then after every frame, we clear it off, and then the whole thing happens again and again. So we'll stop that there. In order to make our alien move, we're going to do some updating of our screen. So we're going to define another variable called update. Within the update function, this is our main game logic. So again, thinking back to MakeCode Arcade, we use the block every once in a while named onGameUpdate. This is an approximation of that in the Pygame Zero. So the update function will try to run 60 times every second. And within that, we can force things on our canvas to move around. So our alien, we're going to move the alien's left side by 2 pixels, so plus equal 2. So we're going to take the left of the alien current location and then add 2 to it every time we update. We're going to ask a simple question. If the alien's left is greater than the width, so thinking about the width of our screen, if the left coordinate of the alien is greater than the width, that means we're off the screen. So we're going to reset our alien's position. We're going to set our alien's right side to 0. And then let's just see what it does. So we have our nice coasting alien moving along, having a good time. Once that side goes off the screen, it comes back around here, and forever and forever. Of course, you can make the alien move faster by changing that value. Woo, woo, woo. Pretty good. So since this is the beginnings of a brand new game, probably there should be some level of interaction, or at least that seems like a good idea. In Pygame Zero, we can access the position and actions of the mouse using a built-in event handler. And so the event handler we define as a function. Pygame Zero sees the name of that function and knows that it's one of their built-in event handlers, and then does what we would expect it to do. So one that we can access is the onMouseDown function. And so since we're tying into a built-in facet of Pygame Zero, we need to make sure it's spelled exactly like this, using lowercase letters and underscores in between the words. We can pass to it a position. So when Pygame Zero runs the code, it's going to put the mouse's current position into the function, and then we can access that in our function as we're calling it to do specific things. In particular, we have a few very important questions to ask. If the alien's collide point, so collide point is another built-in method of our actor function, because our alien is an actor using the graphic alien. So if the alien collide point matches the position of our mouse, that means we're going to change the alien image to be alien hurt. So the alien hurt graphic, again, we're calling by name because that's another PNG image that's here in our images folder. And so alien hurt, alien underscore hurt is our little guy here, little sad little hurt alien. Okay, and then even better than that, the Pygame Zero boilerplate comes with a built-in sound, eep. And so here, we're going to dig into our sounds folder, and then we're going to find the eep sound and then play it. And so, just for reference, we have a sounds folder. We're going to play an eep sound. Not bad. And then just for our own testing, we're going to print to the terminal a little ouch. In the case that our mouse position has been clicked on mouse down, but we haven't hit the collide point, we're going to do something else. We're just going to print you missed. So the print function is built into Python itself. The on must down function we're defined here, but it's a built-in event handler for Pygame Zero. This is all working together to help us make our game. Let's just see what it all actually does. So I press play. Our alien slides across the screen, and I hit him in the belly. So nothing happens exactly when I click here, other than it tells me that I missed. The alien image didn't change back. Still makes that sound though. So we have a few things we want to change with the game in order to at least reset the alien image to have a more accurate sense of animation in the game. For now, we'll close that. So the goal here right now is, at the very least for the animations in our game, I'm going to want the alien to turn back to normal after it's been hit after a little while. And for this, we're going to make our very own functions, and we're going to refactor, change some things around in our code. The first thing we're going to do is set an alien hurt function. We're going to define our brand new function, set alien hurt. So that's how we had defined our own function there. And we're going to do basically the same stuff that we've already done here. We're going to take this out of here, put that in there, because later on, when we make a more complicated game, there are all kind of reasons that our alien character might get hurt, not just here. And so to reuse that code in a more useful way, we can put it inside a function and reuse that code just by typing in the function's name. That way, any changes you have to make, you only make once in here. Then any other time that you're calling the alien to be hurt, it just happens in the same way every time. In addition to getting hurt, we also want to set our alien to have its normal default image. So we define our little function here, set alien normal. And for this, we're kind of doing the reverse. Alien.image equals the regular old alien. So we're setting back the alien image to be what we started with in the first place. And then one of the other kind of neat features of Pygame Zero, they have a scheduling clock, a clock that you can use to set events to happen at a given time. So we're going to call our little clock object, which again is built into Pygame Zero. And we're going to schedule a unique event. And what we're going to do is schedule a callback to be called once at a delay. So this is a little pop-up documentation. And so what we want to call is our set alien normal. And we want that to be called, I'm going to say just half a second, 0.5 seconds after the clock starts. It's going to switch it back to set alien normal. So this is a callback to the set alien normal function over here. So when set alien hurt is called by our code, when we click on the alien, we're going to change its image to hurt, play a sound, print ouch, and then 0.5 seconds afterward, we have a little unique event scheduled to set the alien back to normal. I understand this is probably confusing. We're using a mix of functions that we've created and we call ourselves, and we're using a mix of functions that are built into Pygame Zero itself. To help smooth that over, I really do encourage you to take a good look at the documentation for Pygame Zero, go through the course, and take a look at the built-in objects that are there. And that might be more instructive in terms of what's going on in our code. And if you want to change the graphics on your character, the current graphic we're using was made by the artist Kenny. Kenny .nl is their website, and the graphics we're using are under a public domain license, a CC0 license, so they're free to use in every sense of the word. And so if you don't want the standard alien, you can, choose almost anything you like. There are quite a few types of graphic assets available that Kenny makes for all of us to enjoy. In any case, in our code, what's going on? We define the alien actor, set their top right position to be just off the screen, define the width of our canvas and the height of our canvas based on the height of our alien, gave our game board a colorful background. Every time we update our game, we clear the screen, draw the color, draw the alien. 60 times per second, we move that alien's left side to the right. As numbers get larger, they move to the right of our canvas. Once our alien's left side is off the screen, we set that alien's right to be the 0 coordinate, which would put it off the screen on the left-hand side. We set our alien normal after it's been hurt. Whenever we click on the mouse down on the alien's collide point, we set that alien hurt and then reset its image. Anyway, how does it all look? Our alien moves from the left to the right. We click on it, gets hurt, and turns back to normal. So the 0.5 timer starts after the last time it's been clicked on. And so that's really as far as I wanted to get for this session. It's a lot to take in, I'm sure. But again, do follow up on those additional resources if you want to dig in deeper. And of course, in the next session of this tutorial series, we'll dig a little deeper and make this more of a game than a random, poke the alien in the belly game. But thanks for joining me through this, and I hope to see your fun game creations soon. Thanks so much.